Okay, had to fix the camera a little bit. Excuse me. So he said, launch out into the deep and let down your nets for a draw. He told him how far he wanted him to go. He told him, launch out into the deep, not the shallow end. We have to really listen when Jesus is talking. We have to study every word. He said, launch out into the deep and let down your nets for a draw. There was an instruction given. He wanted him to receive. Jesus may be saying, send in your $17 offering. Launch out into the deep and let down your nets for a drought. You may be doing that. You may have been wondering about it. Many of us may have been given already somewhere else before. We've toiled all the night and didn't see anything happen. Jesus is saying, launch out into the deep and let down your nets for a drought. You're going to get a catch. He may be dealing with you like that. He may be saying, follow this instruction. Follow this instruction. Follow this instruction. He may be telling you. He's saying, we've toiled all the night. Nevertheless, is what he wants to hear. At your word, I will let down my nets for the drought. That may be what he's saying. Only you know. Only you know what the Holy Spirit's been dealing with you about. You're the only one who knows that. And Jesus wasn't even asking that. He wasn't interested in that. That's not what he was concerned about. He just wanted to bless. He just wanted him to hear him. Because when we come back to Jesus with that, I said, if we come back to Jesus with that, we're telling Jesus, turn aside. Turn aside from that, Lord. You may have been witnessing to somebody for a very long time, and they just wouldn't hear you. And then Jesus tells you one of them, go over there again. Go over there again. And you're telling Jesus, and I spoke to them on Tuesday. And they didn't want to hear me on Tuesday. And then I went again at 12:03, and they still didn't want to hear me. And I was back at 5:45, and they still didn't want to hear. And Jesus is saying, go again at 10:10. Go again at 10:10. He doesn't want to hear us telling him to turn aside. Because he knows there's a blessing there, and he wants you to have it. He wants you to get it. He wants you to receive it. He wants you to just let down your nets in the deep end. Where's the deep end? Wherever he's instructing you to go. It may require a little bit more effort, a little bit more love, a little bit more faith, a little bit more understanding, a little bit more patience, a little bit more long suffering. Launch out into the deep. It takes some effort. You don't catch fish on the shallow end the same way you catch it in the deep end. It takes a little bit more effort. You have to have a little bit more preparation. Yeah, into the deep. You might have to go 4 more blocks up the road to talk to that person that you just seen. You might have to go eat at a little bit more expensive restaurant. Launch out into the deep. You might have to go down that street that you probably aren't used to walking down. Going down, driving down, looking down. You might have to tip that Uber person a little bit more than you normally would. You might have to go to McDonald's and get that shake at a time you'd rather just sit down. He's just saying, try me. Launch out into the deep. I know you've been toiling all night. He already knew that. I know you've been toiling all night. I know you haven't taken nothing, but I want you to get something. I don't want you toiling. I want you to have. I need you to follow this instruction. I need you to trust him. He doesn't want us telling him to turn aside because we're turning aside that which he really wants us to have. He knows how we've been feeling. He knows what you've been thinking. He knows what you've been going through. He wants you to receive. He really wants us to receive. So he gives an instruction. And he gave this to somebody who's been allowing him to use his resources. Peter allowed him to use his boat. He allowed him to use it. You've been allowing Jesus to use you. Use your vehicle. Use your hugs. Use your gifts. Your basket making. You make gifts, you make baskets. And you kind of give them out to people. You just want to bless them. You just want to help them. You go to the prison. You're tired. You were sore. You still went to that prison. You help out with the children. You know somebody needs to help them. You've been doing it a long time. People aren't even aware of all the things you do. And Jesus is saying, let down your nets for a drought. Launch out into the deep. Because you haven't seen a return. That means you haven't seen a return, but he wants to give you the return that he has for you. And it's about following that instruction. Recognizing that Jesus is speaking. And us not leaning to our own understanding. We had that lesson last week. And that's what Peter was saying. He was thinking on it. But he came out of that thinking. He said, nevertheless, at your word. That's really that's what it's about. Nevertheless, Jesus, at your word. Not about what I know. Not about what I've understood. Not about what I know has been happening. Not about what I know about the water. Or my experiences. At your word, I will let down the net. I will let down the net. But Jesus actually didn't say let down your net. He said let down your nets. Plural. And Peter said, I will let down the net. Singular. Verse 6 says, and when they had done this, they enclosed a great multitude of fishes, and their net brake. Their expectation wasn't as great as what they were going to receive. So they received a whole lot more than what he was really expecting, because he'd been in that water. And verse 7 says, and when they had beckoned unto their partners, which were in the other ship, that they should come and help them. And they came and filled both the ships, so that they began to sink. He gives so much more than what you were expecting. And it just comes through following an instruction. And if we don't follow that instruction, we'll still be toiling. Not because he wanted us to, but because we just didn't follow an instruction. So when you were here and you see that there's a situation and he's beckoning you, he's telling you, launch out into the deep. Put your faith out here. Put your mindset here. Take this course. And that course requires you to launch out into the deep. You might have to cut off something to finish that course. You might have to do a little something extra to finish that course. Get up a little earlier to finish that course. Go to bed a little later to finish that course. But there's a catch that he has for you. And he's telling you, launch out into the deep and let down your nets for a drought. He doesn't want us to tell him turn aside. Turn aside from that, Jesus. You know, I have this to do and I have that to do and I have that. Just do what he told you to do. Just do what he told you to do. Just do what he told you to do. And you'll see that He has something in mind, and it is for your abundance. It is for your blessing. It is for you profiting. It is for gain. It is for you to be able to make the investment that you've been wanting to make. He knows you need that extra. He knows you need that partner. He knows you need that wisdom, that counsel, that insight, that instruction. He knows you have need of that. And He may be saying, make a left turn. Go talk to person A. Go talk to person B. You really don't talk to them. He's saying, launch out into the deep, meaning that's not your comfort zone. It's not your comfort zone to go there. He's saying, launch out into the deep. You'd rather not talk to them. Launch out into the deep. Go sit here. You normally sit in the back of the class. Sit up in the front. Launch out into the deep. It makes you uncomfortable. Launch out into the deep. I don't think they like me very much. Launch out into the deep. And let down your nets for a drop. Go that place that makes you feel uncomfortable. Why allow that feeling to dictate to you? Why allow that feeling to be Lord? Why allow that? Something's talking to you. Something's telling you this is how you need to feel in that situation. Why can't you just choose to think different in that situation? Why let that be your master? Why let that be your Lord? Do you have to continue thinking like that? You have to let that rule? Launch out into the deep. You go visit that new place. Sit where you wouldn't normally sit at. Launch out into the deep. See what's on the other side of that, what's on the other end of that. Come away knowing instead of supposing. Because supposing doesn't give you the answer. Launch out into the deep. Don't let that rule you. Find out what's on the other side. Celebrate that. If it didn't go the way you thought it was going to go, at least now you have knowledge, you know, you understand. But go in it with the understanding, Jesus, show me something different. Show me something new. I'm letting down my nets. I'm letting down my nets, Jesus. But if all you have is a net that you're going to let down, He'll bless that too. He will bless that too. And He wants to overflow. Give that opportunity. Find out that answer on the other side. Find out, what does He have for you on the other side? Why does He want you to go there? Why are you the one that He's choosing? You've been letting Him use you. He wants to bless you. He wants to help you. And He wants you to have more than enough. More than enough understanding. More than enough intellect. More than enough insight. More than enough wisdom. More than one way to go someplace. He wants you to understand. And pay attention if He's giving you a warning through somebody that's not your favorite person. It seems like that person's an enemy. But yet you hear them giving a warning. A type of warning that they're telling you to equip yourself. A type of warning where they're telling you to help yourself. He's seeking to save your life there. Something in there. There's a salvation there. The Lord is your light and your salvation. He's given light and salvation there. And He's wanting you to turn aside. Just listen. Humble yourself. Just humble yourself. Launch out into the deep. Humble yourself. Launch out into the deep. Don't let pride have its way. No, launch out into the deep. Kick pride aside and let down your nets for the job, the life and that more abundantly that He has for you. My name is Elle. This is Series Perfecting. The movie today is called The Score. It's called The Score and it's on Amazon. And I've actually seen this movie. It's actually available also on Pluto TV. They're showing it this particular week. I've seen it there also. But it's called The Score. And in there, just let the Holy Spirit direct you and show you the importance of turning aside. Be blessed. My name is Elle. This is Series Perfecting. I'll see you next Friday.